Someone just dropped off this. It's an orange Gamecube controller. They basically are complaining that the joystick is loose, and it does feel very loose. I asked them why they wanted to fix this, and apparently it has some sentimental value. They play a lot of Smash Bros, and this is their lucky controller. The way we're gonna fix it though is extremely strange. They also dropped off this. You might recognize it. It's a Wii Nunchuk. Apparently, the joysticks on the Wii Nunchuk are interchangeable with the Gamecube controller. I've never done this before, and I didn't even know it was possible, but I thought it was interesting, so let's get it done. So we tested out the Gamecube controller, and despite this analog being loose, it doesn't seem to have any real implications on gameplay, but it does feel disgusting, and if someone's playing Smash Bros professionally or in a competition, this would put you at a disadvantage, so let's fix it up for them. There's actually an early commercial for the Wii where the Nunchuk has a gray Gamecube stick instead of the official white one. Pretty interesting. We're gonna go ahead and turn around both these controllers. They both use tri-wing screws, and the Nunchuk has a deep screw hole, so you're gonna need a screwdriver that's pretty long and skinny. We'll go ahead and unscrew the Gamecube controller. This is my first time doing this, and I really like making videos on first time repairs because they're just as interesting to me as I'd hope they'd be interesting to you. These screws are all the same size. I am slowly getting a lot better at micro soldering and just soldering in general, so if you guys stick around, I'm sure in a year or two a lot of my content will include soldering, and I'll be pretty good at it, I hope. Now we should be able to gently pry up on the controller, being very careful not to force anything. Ooh, it's a whiteboard. I've literally never seen any tech with a white board, although it's likely a sticker because I still see green under. Still looks very cool. Our issue is over here with this very loose analog. We can just pop it off, and you can see it's not an issue with just the cap. It's actually an issue with the analog itself. It's just loose. It's also nasty, looks terrible, but I can't blame the person because this controller's really old. I don't know if I want to touch that. We'll put on some gloves. To remove the board, all you have to do is pretty much just lift it up. There are some components still attached, so you want to be careful, but we now have the board separated from the housing. Very nice looking color, by the way. Before we can get to the solder joints, we have to remove this purplish bracket, just holding everything into place. We'll pop that out. That is our vibration motor. On the board, we have 6 data points and 4 anchor points. The anchor points are literally just anchor points, and the data points are for the potentiometers for the Y and X axis.
Gamecube.
We'll take our soldering iron. We're gonna be basically dipping the tip into some rosin and then using a wick which will suck up the existing solder because we don't need it anymore. You can see the wick is becoming a more silver color, which means that it just sucked up all the solder, which is what we want it to do. If you do this without the rosin, the wick tends to stick and it makes your life difficult. A lot of people use a sucker to do this. Basically, it just sucks up the solder. I prefer using a wick. A sucker just feels like, well, it's in the name. Let's see if this could just pop right out. There we go. Alright, now that we have the joystick on the Gamecube removed, we're gonna do the same with our Nunchuk, except this time, we're gonna move it from here to here. Stop! Are you on the internet with no protection again? What are you doing? Watching my videos with no VPN? I'm hacking you right now. Using the internet without PIA is like soldering without rosin. It puts you in sticky situations. Not only are you making yourself vulnerable, but you're not taking full advantage of subscriptions like Netflix, Disney Plus, and even the news. Because I'm in Canada, they've blocked a lot of our news content, even tech news, but because I use private internet access, today's sponsor, well, it doesn't affect me. They let you use it on unlimited devices, meaning one account is all you need. There are no logs, and they have 50 servers in 50 states. For just $2 a month with my special link, you can access region-restricted content with just one tap. Literally, you just boop, and now I can access any region-restricted content I want. Click the link in the description and grab the deal. They're offering 83% off with an additional 4 months free. Pretty crazy deal, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, back to video. We'll go ahead and hit the Nunchuk with an unscrew. This is very basic level soldering, and anyone can do this. Don't be intimidated. There we go. We can remove the housing. We'll also remove the thumbstick cover. These are actually interchangeable with the GameCube controller. You can swap one to the other or vice versa. Now that we have access to the joystick, we're gonna do the same exact thing with our soldering iron, our rosin, and our wick. Put the soldering iron to the wick and get all that solder sucked up. And it came out very cleanly. Now we have the Nunchuk joystick removed. We can very carefully remove these disgusting hairs and place it over here. You want to make sure it's sitting nice and flush. Now we're all ready to solder this back on. We'll use some flux. We're just gonna put a little bit. I don't like to put a lot of flux. I find it to be extremely messy. We'll take our iron. We're gonna use a little bit of solder. The way we do this is you basically leave the iron on the pad for just a few seconds, and then you dab a bit of solder on, just like that, and then pull up. Do that again. And pull up. That is a perfect joint. Take a look at that. We'll do that again for the other data pins. My cameraman is currently sniffing these fumes because they're flying right at his face. So if you're enjoying the video, hit that subscribe button so I can pay him more. We're down to our last anchor point. With the anchor points, you want to be quite generous with the solder because, well, they're anchor points and they're keeping the whole joystick on the actual board. Because of how aggressive people are with these joysticks, especially during a heated game of Smash Bros, I'm gonna add just a little bit extra to make sure everything sticks down. That looks absolutely beautiful. Once again, this is the easiest form of soldering, so it's not challenging at all to do this, but we do have to clean it up because look at all that gunky stuff. We're gonna take our trusty brush and then we're gonna lightly brush just to get rid of all that gunk. Before we close this up to test everything out, we're gonna replace this thumbstick because it looks nasty, and while we're at it, we'll also replace the other thumbstick. This is his lucky controller after all, and I mean, he did give me all this stuff to replace it with, so that looks a lot better. We're gonna stick the C-stick on. Now we'll stick the left joystick on. This looks so much cleaner. Let's reinstall everything else. Something I didn't know before this repair was that there are a few different versions of the GameCube controller and the Wii Nunchuk, and not all of the stick boxes are interchangeable between the two. I'll leave a link below with more information on that, but for now, let's get this controller back together to see if this actually worked. Now we're gonna go ahead and install those tri-wing screws. This is my first time ever doing this, so I don't really know if it'll work or not, but everything went so smooth, so I'm sure it should. Screw that in. All that's left to do now is to test out the GameCube controller. We're gonna go ahead and plug this in. This feels so much better. It's not loose at all, and I can confirm in the gameplay everything is working as it should, so everyone's happy, and I'm sure my customer is going to be really happy because yeah, we restored this GameCube controller to its original glory. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe too if you enjoyed the video. I know I did. See you guys in the next one. Peace.